the worst moments of our life.
Hey girl, hey, that's bad.
So speaking of like worst ever experiences.
That is the worst ever.
I don't feel so good.
And that was my worst audition ever.
How bad can it be?
And we feel that pain is best served funny. Welcome to
Worst Ever Podcast. I'm Covita, your host.
I'm your host.
Also known as Alaa. Jesus.
Okay.
But Covita, one of the pandemic twins.
And I'm your other host, Christine Lakin, or known today as my former alias, apparently, Al Lambert. Because this
I was going to say, yeah.
I've got a very Al look going on today.
You do? I was just going to say that. You look like a little step-by-steppy.
I do.
I feel like, I'm just going to say this out now because it's going to bother me, that you've been sort of ignoring me the past week.
Okay, I'm sorry that you feel that way.
I appreciate your apology.
No, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I haven't been ignoring you.
Okay.
I'm just, I'm trying to keep it together over here.
I get it, Christine. I mean, listen to me. We've been through pandemics before. We've been through earthquakes. We
haven't been through pandemics before.
In the 50s, there was a huge flu pandemic that killed like a million people.
I wasn't alive, even though you were. I wasn't here.
Oh, slow down. I'm just saying we are resilient human beings. We can get through this. There's no reason to make it such a big deal.
Okay. Well, I don't really think you have. Okay, you're going to have to just like lean forward or stay in the same position because the background is making me nuts.
It's the worst ever podcast background.
I get it, but it's like moving in and out and it looks crazy.
Not on here.
Listen, anybody who doesn't have two children under 5, I don't really want to hear it because you don't understand what my life is like at all.
Okay.
And I have a child who is teething, 4 teeth coming in right now. And sometimes he just decides to scream from 2 p.m. until we put him to bed at 7. And when I say scream, it's blood curdling.
Okay.
It's so loud. So I'm doing everything I can to just like not lose my mind sometimes.
Well, and the positive, your Japanese chicken salad this round was amazing.
It was really good this time.
Yeah, and so you should keep that exact same ratio of everything.
Yeah, okay.
Don't start changing it up.
No, I'm not. I haven't been.
Okay. Well,
I'm going to keep it as that.
All right.
I've never used rotisserie chicken making it, which is what it always calls for, just because then you don't have to poach the chicken. I've always poached it because it's a little healthier. Not as much.
Well, poaching's easy.
Poaching's so easy.
Yeah.
I have been making some great dinners, I will say. Last week, I feel like I really killed it. I made a braised artichoke. I made a whole roasted chicken. Yesterday, we put a pork butt. I hate that they call it pork butt. Which is a roast, basically, in the crock pot and made pulled pork.
Yeah, I love pulled pork, except I don't really eat pork. But if you make pulled beef, have you been drinking more?
I mean, I have a cocktail every night, for sure. Yeah. I don't drink during the day.
Real quick about
unless
our
it's
guest.
Sunday.
Real quick about our guest that's coming, and this is between me, you, and the audience.
Okay.
He's been texting me all weekend because he's like, I don't have any stories, blah, blah, blah. But he's like an Adam Lavogne. I've known him for years.
Okay.
And he's got crazy ass stories. We just have to get him out. You know what I mean?
Get him. Yeah.
Oh, no, I know we'll get him. But he's like, I just don't know what I'm going to talk about. I'm like, shut up, dude, and quit bothering me. But yeah, I was like, calm down. We're like the gurus of interviews. You'll be fine. Okay?
You'll be fine. Wait, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Before I forget, are your allergies crazy right now?
Not yet, but I can tell they're going to start coming soon.
Oh my God. My allergies are insane. They're so bad.
And you don't want to mistake them for the corona.
Well,
right?
I haven't been anywhere. I don't go anywhere.
By the way, all my wigs are courtesy of Rio Mid City. Follow them on Instagram. I just want to give them a plug. They're sending me wigs. I'm getting short bobs coming, I think, soon.
Covita, that's pretty cute. I feel like you could Hmm. Covivian.
No, this is Covita. Her twin is
Quarantina.
Quarantina, and they're the pandemic twins.
Okay.
Quarantina will meet our next guest that we're interviewing next week or this week.
So then
I think
what's the very first wig?
that's Corona.
Oh, okay. It's just
Right.
Corona?
That's Corona. I didn't know I was going to have a wig thing during the whole pandemic. I was like, I'm like keeping up with the Kardashians here.
You really are.
And this thing is like 20 inches. You know how many
It's
times
so
I've sat
long.
on it? It's so fucking long. So it's like, you're going to have to send me a bob or something.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cute. Well, we're going to have to
Mm-hmm.
come up with another name for that
Mm-hmm.
one.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
A bob for stage 2.
Oh my God, don't even say that because I'm just so ready for everything to open up. In fact, but I'm just kind of, listen, everyone needs to calm down with the opening up. I want things to open up. I'm getting restless too. I'm missing certain things like sitting at a bar and the whole bit, but
Yeah.
I'm still scared. I am going to try to get the antibodies test because I am going to try to fly to Florida at the beginning of June.
Right.
So I'm going to go to Atlanta first, drive from Atlanta to Florida, help my parents move to Orlando. So if there's any fans that want to reach out and try to get together, I'll do that.
It's I've been trying to get one through my doctor. I think I'm going to, only because I never got tested when I felt bad because there weren't any
Right.
tests. So I would be
Right.
really, really curious, although it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything, but I just want to know.
They're already saying that it doesn't mean you can't get it again.
I understand that. I don't want to go through the whole thing. Don't write me saying that you can. I know the whole thing. Okay, I get it. I just want to know if I do have the antibodies and I did have it.
Yeah,
I
right.
want to. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, for sure. No, you definitely had it. You gave it to me. We both couldn't get tested. Then your
Gave it
roommate
to my
had it.
roommate, and he got tested right in time and tested
Right.
positive. Yeah. Yeah. Fucking Covita is in my mouth. The hairs.
It's so bad. I have like the worst. I have the worst postnasal drip. Everyone around here, this fucking town, everyone around here is trimming their damn trees. I get it. This is about to be fire season. We have to do it. But they've already said we're extending the deadline on all the trimming of the trees. Can we fucking stop trimming our trees every single day? I know I sound like an angry white lady who's just complaining about dumb stuff. But
You
like
do.
I'm home all day, like every day. Buzzsaws every day. Chainsaw.
There's nothing else for people to do.
Calm down. The trees are fine. Everybody calm down.
I've never gardened in my life, and I'm pruning things.
I get it, but these people around here, they ain't doing this shit themselves.
By the way, I had an altercation with one of the Waggy Beef people, but it was my fault.
What would you do?
Well, they have a nephew or the grandchild of Waggy, whose name is Amir, but we'll just call him Arir. And allegedly, I was texting him to see my uncle, who's got stage 4 cancer and is literally dying, and he's the one that was in the nursing home. But now he's, by the way, he's home. Everyone, he's in his own home, and everyone's happy. We're all getting along. My aunt still doesn't talk to me, and Hambone doesn't talk to me, but the rest of the clan talk to me. And I thought Arir was ignoring me because I was texting him because I wanted to FaceTime with my uncle, and I thought he was ignoring me. I had his wrong number. He had a new number. So I had to I came clean and confessed, and I go, dude, if you had any idea what I was saying and was about to do to you, he's like, oh my God, no, I have a new number. He goes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry because I literally was cussing your name. I was going to like talk really shitty about you on my podcast. And then, but I won't. And so he's like, oh God, I can only imagine. I go, yeah, but we're in a good place. Just want to get an update on the family. And I sent my brother a whole Lysol Dream package.
You did?
That should arrive today. If they haven't gotten it, I haven't gotten a thank you yet. So we'll see.
Well, all of those early morning runs to Walmart are just really
it paid off. It paid off. I have my Lysol Dream package ready to go to send my mom and dad today.
Good for you. Very nice. All right, Damon is waiting in the waiting room. Shall I admit him?
Admit him.
Here we go.
Oh, well, let's introduce him first.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so this is an old friend of mine from the Mickey Mouse Club. I've known him since I think he was like 13 or 14, maybe 15. In Orlando, he was a Mouseketeer. He was in the hit pop group The Party.
The Party.
The Party, Mr. Damon Pampolina.
Okay, he's joining now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's in like a beautiful outdoor oasis.
No. What are you laughing at?
Is this quarantine hair?
Yes, that's Quarantina.
Amazing.
There's also Covita. They're the twins. There's 2 different wigs, and then there's just a totally different one that's COVID. He's lost
COVID?
it.
What's
He's
COVID look like?
it.
Dark and curly?
Yes, kind of.
Love
We've lost Alaa. Somehow he's gone rogue.
I hope that's not on my end. No, right?
No, you're fine. Hi Damon, nice to meet you.
How are you?
I'm pretty good.
What's
Hanging
took
in
you
there.
so long?
I don't know.
What took you so long? Where the hell you been?
Are you in what part of town are you in? Where are you?
Houston, Texas.
You're
And
in
we're
Houston. Okay.
kind of south
Hey,
side.
sorry.
There you are.
Sorry about that.
I don't know what happened to you.
I don't know either. It just like pooped out on me. Shit. Here we go. I'm back.
Oh, very nice.
Oh, we have that.
Very nice.
Yeah, let's talk about this backdrop, shall we? This is the original Mouseketeer photo, Damon.
Nice, buddy. Who are you blocking? Oh, you're blocking me.
Yeah. Well, you're on, so I don't need to see you. There. Can you see?
There you go.
Oh my God, so cute.
Let me look at you. You look great, dude.
Thank you, buddy. Totally look the same as that picture, right?
Mm-hmm. Wow, look at that, Texas. Blue skies in Texas. What? How are you doing during the COVID? This is Covita, by the way.
Yeah.
I explained that.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm like, fuck it. I'm just this is the whole thing. I'm going nuts.
It's tough. It's been really tough. I got a story. Couple gets married in Vegas, drives to California.
Go ahead.
And Border Patrol says, well, you can come, but you can't leave. They could come into California, but you could. It was literally like the Eagle song.
Oh my God.
California.
Is that
Is
for
this
real?
This is what I heard.
That's some bullshit. We're not like that.
Well,
I don't
think
know what
about
they're
it. They don't want people like leaving the state, you know what I mean, and going and infecting the rest of America.
I know. I don't believe it.
Okay.
People are going to Mexico. Okay.
Who's going to
trying to-
Mexico?
Well, I saw a whole news article today that they were saying that San Diego is begging the U.S. government, the federal government, to help them with their border because people are going in and out to Tijuana, and Tijuana is suffering. They're like, because the hospitals are not great, and there is an up. San Diego's at 4% with the COVID, and Tijuana is at 14%.
Whoa.
And they don't have the facilities and the ventilators and stuff to, treat people. And so they're like, can you help us? And ironically, Trump is making fun of California because now you need my help with the borders. Got it?
Ah.
Got it.
All right. So Damon and I have known each other for how long?
It's got to be. Oh, well, listen, if we just celebrated our 30-year anniversary last year.
Right. So
Oh.
over
30 years.
Yeah. So that's about 30.
31,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That's crazy.
You celebrated the 30-year anniversary of the Mickey Mouse Club, the new Mickey Mouse Club.
Right, of it airing. So we were running before the airing, weren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And we used to get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Damon is like a womanizer, by the way, if you haven't noticed.
I haven't noticed. What am I supposed to notice? There's like a pool in the background.
Can you tell? I mean, listen to me. He's married and has a child, by the way, who's like a mini Damon. So let's get that clear. But back in the day.
Thank you. Back in the day. Clarify that.
Back in the day, this kid was out of fucking control.
And Alaa was one of my castmates' guardian in LA. What does that tell you? Did she know
Right.
that part?
Because well, did you know that, Christine?
Yeah, that you were a guardian.
Yeah, for Chase, which we're gonna try to get on here as well. But
Oh,
yeah, Chase's parents did want to go to LA for 2 months while they recorded their album. So and I had just turned 18, just graduated high school, and they're like, "Can Alaa be his guardian?" And I was like,
Oh
"Yeah,
my
I'll
God.
go." Oh yeah. Oh,
That
yeah.
that's like the worst idea ever.
Can you imagine?
It
So
was easy. Chase only ate grilled cheese sandwiches, so I didn't have to do. That's all he ate.
the best, Christine, is Alaa was getting money from his mom and was getting per diem from the record company. We were rolling
We were
Now-
shopping at the Beverly Center every day.
every
That
day.
sounds like the quarantina I know.
There's the
Yeah.
quarantine, you know.
Oh yeah, we had a blast, and it was
And-
right before I moved to New York. So I was like,
and then my mom was out there with me, so Alaa and my mom were going to Price is Right and all kinds of game
yeah,
shows.
we were doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah.
Damon,
So we've.
like,
Go
how
ahead.
did you start? How did the whole Mickey Mouse Club thing happen for you?
Are we on right now, or are we just shooting the breeze?
No,
we're on.
Okay, well, y'all are so casual, I couldn't tell.
Well, I told you it's not a big deal. Calm down. He's bugging me all weekend. I'm like, just fucking relax.
I want to give you
About
good
as
material.
No, we're about as lowbrow as it gets. So don't worry.
We are the
I'm-
Kelly. We're the ghetto Kelly and Ryan.
Yeah, I'm in my
okay?
freaking closet. Okay.
I was getting
All
ready
right.
to say, Christine, you're in your closet. You got
Yeah.
great.
This is
Yeah.
the only place I can get away from my kids. So
Oh, that's funny. I had to get mine with Grandma and Grandpa right now so I could be here for you guys.
Yeah.
It all started in Houston, Texas, where I'm at now, my hometown. Was doing some local stuff, print work, and some commercials and stuff, trying to get my feet wet. And that started about 7 or 8. And then, long story short, went to Dallas with the one and only Mr. Matt Casella for an audition for a film that was going to be called Why Because We Like You, which was a movie about the original cast in the 50s, right?
okay.
And Matt Casella said, you know what, you don't look like any of those castmates, but you would be great for a project that's coming up in a few months. So I'm going to reach out for you. So the writer's strike came on at that time. It was about a 6-month gap. And then they came back out to Dallas for the Mickey Mouse Club. And I went back up to Dallas from Houston, did that one, then got a call maybe 2 weeks later to go and screen tests at the MGM studios in Orlando.
Wow.
Here's the kicker with Damon. And Damon, you can be honest. It's not a big deal. He's tone deaf, can't sing. Okay. I mean, it's fine. I mean, we're like way past like the trying to fake it, dude.
Yeah.
He can't sing worth shit. The only thing he's got going for him is he's funnier than hell, great personality, and he can dance.
Well, that's at least two of a triple threat.
Right.
Well, I was
Right.
getting ready to say a lot of those kids were triple threats, and they were classically trained. So we get around the piano, and all these kids start belting out all these tunes, and I'm intimidated as hell. And I had been practicing everything. Everything is coming up roses, coincidentally. So
That's the song.
that's the song I was practicing, because once I booked the show, I was trying to get my vocal ability stronger. So Barbara Epstein, I think was her name. She's at the piano. She's like, "What do you want to do?" And I go, "Everything's coming up roses." And everybody looks at me like, "What the hell?" And we did all right. We got through it. But the bottom line is Alaa's correct. I mean, it was very intimidating there at the beginning to be around all those vocalists. They were really strong. Raquel Herring, Brandy Brown, Jennifer McGill. I mean, these kids were like amazing. Amazing
Wow.
singers. Yeah.
Right. So he they would give him all the rap songs.
Yeah.
But he had such a country twang, so the rap songs would sound like some country rap.
Alarm.
Yeah, yes. He had one song called Buttermilk Biscuits.
Alaa's favorite.
It's my favorite song.
Oh
Look
my
it up if
God.
you can. It's hilarious.
Which was a remake from Sir Mix-a-Lot. Sir Mix-a-Lot was the original artist of Buttermilk Biscuits, and we heard it, and we pitched it to the music director, and they bought it. They said, "Yeah, let's do it." Somehow.
Oh my God.
Very-
That's hilarious.
Yeah, very country-esque in those
Yes.
songs.
So how
Um,
long did you film the Mickey Mouse Club, or you were doing that in Orlando before you came out to LA?
Yeah. So we were there for a good 2 years. I think Alaa could help me with my numbers. We completed 150 episodes, 3 seasons. So because it was a 5-day-a-week variety show, right? So
Right.
your sitcoms take 5 to 6 years to do that, and we did it in like a year and a half,
Wow.
which was pretty insane.
Yeah, they worked. Well, no, they and I've talked to Dee Dee and Albert and Lindsay Alley before, and they worked you guys to the bone. I mean, you guys were working crazy hours a day to the point where you guys were losing it in the sense of like acting up and being obnoxious and just losing it because you had no time off.
Yeah.
Literally, I mean, you went from season to season to season, 5 days a week, taping every day. Like it was long hours and stressful.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons of doing it in Orlando and not LA was they could push those hours. In LA, I don't think they would have got away with that. Do you agree, Alaa?
Right. Yeah, because it's a right to work state, and it was not like a union thing at the time for them. But yeah, I mean, they would literally, I mean, the amount of like, they would literally cause chaos around MGM studios, like nuts.
Yeah, we were
nuts.
Pretty out of control.
Plus, they had school.
Yeah, we had tutors on set. There was a trailer on set, and we condensed it to 3 hours a day, 9 to 12, lunch, and then go into rehearsal or filming. But Alaa, good story too, talking about working us to the bone. This is kind of a worst ever. We have a reunion show with some of the original members, Annette Funicello, Cubby, right? They come on. They're there for a week. That week was brutal, and they were pushing us quite a bit. And it got to the point to where I ended up passing out on the set in front of some of the originals. I mean, and the big execs were there too.
Oh no.
Yeah. So that the point of that is like the timing for that to happen could not have been worse than like with the originals there,
But then were they like, okay, maybe we need to reevaluate, or were they like, get up, Damon, back in there, more jazz hands?
Yeah, you better hammer time, Damon, hammer time.
Dance monkey, dance monkey, dance monkey. Ooh, ooh, dun, 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 dun. I mean, is that song not us back then? The schedule really didn't subside after that. I mean, obviously, I took a break a little bit, and but it stayed full throttle for the most part. Yeah, it was crazy.
And Damon, Chase, and Albert were like the three rambunctious guys in the group, and the producers used to think that I was their drug dealer. Because they were so out of fucking control. Meanwhile, I didn't drink. I didn't do drugs. I was like the cleanest one, I was just like guilty by association. And so they pretty much didn't want me on set.
They thought Alaa was our bad influence.
That is so funny. Well, I could see that because, you definitely come off like maybe a little bit of a bad influence if someone doesn't know you. I mean, you're in the mix. You're like brassy. But if anyone really got to know you, like, not a druggie, definitely not a druggie.
No.
And I think it was just he used to dress very flashy, and this is late '80s going into the '90s. The hippie flower movement was in. He dressed very flashy. He had great hair. He had a great car. So I think just perception was oh yeah, this kid's
right. He's the reason why they had to find a reason why they were so fucked up.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah, no, it's a true story.
Okay, so then you go out to LA for the party?
No.
That was more Mickey Mousing. Okay.
So they do more Mickey Mousing, but they decided it was at the height of the New Kids, right, Damon?
Yeah, but we LA was for the recording of the album and stuff for the party.
It was, right, but they said we're gonna take the 5 oldest kids from are you still there, Damon?
What if he was there, but he was just decided to like be very still and totally fuck with us?
Froze.
Froze. Okay, we're back.
Was that my fault, Alaa, or do we not know?
Yeah, no, it's you. You froze.
Damn it.
It's all right. You got worse service.
Your hair, you're very natural with your hair. The way you're handling it, it's you, dude.
Oh, he's been wearing this now for 7 weeks, so it's basically a part of him.
I have 3 different personality wigs, Damon.
Which
One is Corona. This is Covida, and then I got her twin, the pandemic twin, Quarantina.
love it. Quarantina Pampolina.
I've come out of the
Oh,
closet
we're gonna get
because I
matches in
just
a room.
couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't sit in there any longer. So now I've realized I could probably be mobile.
All
So
right.
I came out of the closet.
So at the end of the run, during the New Kids heyday, they saw that these pop groups were doing really well, and there wasn't a real like pop group that had like a mixture of people, of boys and girls, and different ethnicities. So Disney, it's when Hollywood Records first came out, decided to start a pop group called The Party and take the 5 oldest kids or the 5 longest kids on the Mouse Club, because they were about to like age out of the show, and make the group. Go ahead, Damon. Damon. Fucking moron. What's he on a dial-up?
I don't know.
Is he on a dial-up?
Yeah, he's on dial-up. He's on dial-up.
Oh, this is the worst interview ever.
He's using
I got so
AOL.
excited. Get inside, Damon. No one needs to see the yard. Get in where it's closer to the Wi-Fi.
Oh my God.
Hollywood Records was formed, which is like Touchstone to Disney. It was funded by Disney, so it was kind of a no-brainer to take 5 of the more, I guess, the older kids that were on the show and let them evolve into this pop group concept. Peter Paterno was the president at the time. He had a great background as an entertainment lawyer, and he had some really great connections. So with Disney funding and his connections, it was a pretty amazing opportunity that we got to be a part of. For example, like he was asking who we wanted to work with. One of the artists or producers was Dr. Dre. Well, he used to represent Dr. Dre. So he made a phone call. Yeah, and then now we were in the studio with Dre. And that was right before the Chronic album in 90, to kind of give you a reference. So yeah, it was cool. And then like Alaa was saying, it really was ahead of its time as far as different nationalities and co-ed, guys and girls. You know, that was way before the Black Eyed Peas, right? So we were kind of the first group to venture into that concept, guys and girls. And multi mixed nationalities, you know.
Right, and everyone's saying except for Damon.
another opportunity there where I'm surrounded by, strong vocalists. So we kind of became a rapper / hype man, if you will.
And like, just give them an example of like some of the people besides Dr. Dre, like Jody Watley you worked with, right?
So yeah, we had some great, amazing producers that we got to work with, write with, and create with. It was awesome.
That's great. That's amazing. You really think about you guys were sort of given full access to some of the most amazing people. So what was how long were you in the party? How long did that go on?
Yeah, I usually tell everybody it was about 2.5 hours of the show and about 2.5 hours, 2.5 years at the show and 2.5 years of the group, and roughly, so about 5 years total for that one. Which now that I'm older, I look back and I'm like, God, that's nothing, right? Like 5 years is nothing, 2.5 years is nothing,
Yeah,
but they also brought the party on them as part of the Mouse Club to sort of like transition them and to promote the party.
Right.
And then they did a huge tour. Like you toured with what? Taylor Dane.
Yeah. Taylor Dane, Color Me Bad, Vanilla Ice. Hollywood Records bought the rights to Queen at the time. And so the record president called Vanilla and said, look, we could, we could sue, but why don't you let my group go on tour with you instead? Let's work that out. So that was kind of the little inside tidbit there that not a lot of people know, right? So that's how we got on with him. And yeah, and then a couple of tours in Europe. High Five with us was another group we got to tour with. They were phenomenal. I'm trying to think who else I love.
I forget, but you did so many. Well, just to clarify the Vanilla Ice thing, Ice Ice Baby, he sampled the Queen intro. Hollywood Records owned the Queen. They were gonna sue him rather than suing Vanilla Ice. They bargained to have the party open up for him. And was he nice to you guys?
He was kind of
He hated you.
Yeah. He wasn't the
Really?
most, he was on top of the world at the time. And then we kind of got, pushed onto that tour. So I don't think he was the most ecstatic, but we had 10,000 seaters every night with him, 15,000 seaters every night. So it was amazing exposure.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, he was still pop, he was a pop artist.
He was a one-hit wonder, by the way.
Go ahead. And and so our audience, it was kind of a good mix with us and him, you know what I mean? We got some great exposure, but it was wild. It was wild. And he had a full-blown like DJ, saxophonist, percussionist. I think he kind of had the whole band thing going, which was killer. And there was a couple of times where he brought us on at the end of his show. He'd let us get out there and tear it up at the end of his show, which was awesome with him. Very cool.
Christine, did I ever tell you the Philopina Pampolina Hawaii story?
No.
I never said it on air.
I don't think so.
Okay, so they were on tour and they were going to Hawaii, the party, to perform. And so they were like, "You should come with us." So I asked my parents. I was like, "Can I go?" It was like the summer before my senior year. I was like, "Can I go?" And they're like, "All right, fine, whatever." So Damon has a sister by the name of I can't even remember her name now, Carla. Carla Pampolina, and so we were friends. We're all the Musketeers, their siblings, and me. We're all friends. It was like a family.
Very close.
Very close. Yeah. So I called the Pampolinas and said, "I'm gonna fly to Houston, and I'll meet you in Houston. I'll stay like a night or two in Houston, and then me and Carla will fly to Hawaii together from Houston." So I fly there, spend the night. The next day, Philip Pampolina takes us to the airport. We go, the tickets in Phil's name, because at that time, remember, this is like 1988, 89, right?
Right.
The ticket was in Phil's name because the record company, gave the parents tickets or whatever, but Carla was going to go. So she was just going to use his ticket, and they didn't check IDs then at that point. So Phil, being the fucking, what's the guy? He wanted his fucking miles. He's very much like me.
Oh, okay.
So he goes up to the counter and we're checking in, and he was like, I want to make sure my miles are on there, like that, So he goes, and she's like, okay. And then he goes, and he starts talking to Carla. He goes, okay, Carla, how many bags you got? Blah, blah, blah. She's like, so the lady at the counter was like, well, wait a minute, who's traveling, you or her? And she's like, well, she's traveling, but because I can't go, I'm going to go to, in a couple days. So she's going to go instead, and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, it has to be in her name. And he's like, okay, well, fine, put in her name. And she's like, no, this is a non-refundable ticket. The only way I can put in her name is if I refund it and then change it. And I can't do that. So she can't go. It's either you or that's it. So he's like, oh, fuck it, fine, I'm gonna go, blah, 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 right? So we're looking at him like, okay, he's just screwing with her. Carl and I were laughing. He's like, just go, blah, blah, blah. We go through security. They don't check. Remember, this is a time where they don't check IDs or anything.
Wait, pause. And now he's got all of her clothes in a suitcase.
That's checked in, but he's still not going to go. She's going to go. He's just pretending now like he's going to go.
Okay.
He just lied to the counter thing.
Got it.
So we're walking to the gate, and, we stop by the Cinnabon, whatever. We're walking to the gate, and I say to Carla, because Phil, double parks, and he's like, I got to go, bye, and he leaves. And I say to Carla, I go, if they give us a hard time, just say your name is Philopina Pampolina. And I'm just joking because I'm like, oh, they're not gonna say anything. I've never had my ID checked at this point,
Right.
So we get to go in on the plane, and we give them the ticket, whatever. We're sitting on the plane, and we haven't left. And then all of a sudden, the doors open again, and some person comes on. The woman at the counter had called the gate and said, just double check and make sure that, you know, blah, blah, blah. So he walks over to our seats. Carla is freaking out.
Oh my
And
God.
he's like, can I see your ticket, please? And she's like, sure. And I go, what's the problem? And he's like, just need to check the ticket. He goes, what's your name? And she goes, Philopina Pampolina.
Oh my God, amazing.
And he's like, excuse me? And I go, her name is Philopina Pampolina. He goes, can you guys step up to the front for me real quick? And then he goes, so he pulls us up to the front of where the cockpit is. He's like, ma'am, what's your real name? She goes, it's Philopina Pampolina. He goes, seriously, just tell us now, what's your name? And I go, and I look at him, I go, it's Philopina Pampolina. He goes, let me see your ID. I go, no. I go, my name is Alaa. Do you know if it's a boy or a girl's name? And no one's asked for my ID. I go, so that's bull. I said, that's bull. So he was frustrated. I go, her name's Philopina Pampolina. It's not the law to ask for an ID, and that's that. So they let us on, and we had a layover in Dallas. So we were freaking out, like going, it's going to happen to us in Dallas. They're going to call the DFW. So sure enough, we get there, and to this day, I call her Philopina Pampolina.
Oh my God. That is so funny.
Well, what's worse is Damon. Sorry, Damon, I'm calling you out.
Oh, I know where you're going.
Yeah. He used to take, and Albert and I already talked about it on the podcast. Damon used to take the airbags, the life vests from under the seat, hide them in his bag, and then when we get to the hotel room, he'd scare the shit out of us, jump on the bed, and like inflate the bag.
Oh my God.
Which is a federal offense, I think, taking
federal offense, yeah. So there's a bunch of Eastern Airlines at the time who ain't got life vests under their seats.
Oh my God.
That's the kind
crazy.
of shit that Damon would do.
Oh, it was fun times.
Oh my God. That's nuts.
See those CO2 cartridges, ignite?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good stuff. My uncle is a flight attendant, and he was just blown away that I would do that. He goes, you are out of your mind,
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So when you were out in LA, how old were you when that part started?
When we first started, we were about 15.
Oh, okay. So you were always there with a parent.
Yeah, we were, since we were underage and not of legal age, we had to have a guardian. So majority of us all had our moms with us. And again, Alaa was Chase's guardian. So whenever we needed to go somewhere, get in trouble, or have a little friend over, we went to Alaa's apartment / Chase.
Right.
And we would go, like, we used to go to all the bars. Like, we would hang out with, like, remember Bar One, Damon?
Bar One, because of Rick Scott.
Yeah, Rick Scott, who was their publicity person,
right,
would take us to Bar One. And like, people like Prince and the New Kids, and I mean, you name it. It was, every celebrity was there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And afterwards, we'd go to, like, what was the restaurant that we go after Bar One? The diner? Ed DeBevick's.
Yeah,
Ed DeBevick's. I used to love that place.
Yeah, we used to go with, which new kid used to drive us there?
John.
Yes.
John.
Yeah.
Nice, very sweet. They were all class acts. Yeah, so now you can, we were like the Drew Barrymores, 15 drinking at a bar with Alaa, till 2 a.m. It was awesome.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
We had
I was never allowed to do any of that. My mom kept a hawk eye on me. I wasn't allowed to be out after 11 ever.
Did you grow up in LA?
Yeah, I was here since I was 12. But once I started college and my parents moved back to Atlanta, I was into a theater scene then though. So my crazy was going out to La Poubelle, going to the Amundsen and seeing a show, and then going to La Poubelle where everyone's still smoking inside and having drinks. And every now and then I'd run into a lot of birds, which was, they were all, it's one strip on Franklin. There's 4 bars.
I know what you're talking about. And the Bourgeois Pig, baby.
Bourgeois Pig. It's all still there. And every now and then I'd run into a lot there at Bourgeois Pig or something. He's like, what are you doing here?
Oh God, the memories. That is so awesome. I remember that.
Yeah, there's so much that's changed here, but there's a few places that have, stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Well, David and I ended up moving together in Burbank when he moved here permanently to start auditioning. And Damon, by the way, I still use that address for my voter registration.
That apartment?
I do. Let me tell you why. Because that little church that's right next to it, across from the Vons,
Yeah.
is the fastest voting poll I've ever been to, and I'm afraid to lose that. So I just kept it. I won't change the address. Swear to God.
Yeah, so when I first get out to LA, I just turned 21 and was talking to Alaa, and he goes, hey, I'm moving out of my place. I said, I'm moving out there. He said, hey, let's get an apartment together. So we did.
So this was after the party was done.
The party was dissolved. I finished my senior year of high school and went to New York for a little bit, pursued my career out in New York for about 2.5 years. And then when I was done with that, came out there. Yeah. And then a whole nother era of a lot of fun. I mean, that was a great era too. Alaa as a roommate. Here we are now running together in LA. Like some great times.
So wait, were you here? Was this the moving out and then the Northridge earthquake?
I'm trying to think.
Were you here for
No,
that?
he was here after that.
That was after. Okay.
After.
Yeah, no, it was me, Albert, and Chase that were here.
Okay.
And I was staying at Chase's house because my apartment wasn't ready yet. And it was my second night in LA was the Northridge quake.
Oh my God.
And that's what sent Albert back to Chicago.
Yeah,
it was the Northridge quake. Yeah.
Right, Alaa, it freaked him out. He said, forget this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And are you still talking to all the kids, Dee Dee and everyone?
Yeah, we all still keep in touch for the most part. And you know, we can get into that too. The group reunited about 7 years ago. And that was a lot of fun. And it was actually some of the best times of my life to be back with them, creating again, back in the studio, kind of therapeutic. We got to get a lot of stuff straightened out. That was awesome. And Albert hit me up for my birthday, AKA Jean. So we all still kind of keep in touch. I talk to Chase probably on average once, twice a month. And we still kind of keep in touch with Dee Dee here and there. So for the most part, still, and obviously we were all together for the reunion last year.
Yeah, so I went to the reunion, which was insane. You want to talk about that for a second? Because I think it's going to happen again at some point.
You do?
I mean, listen, I told what's his name? Mountains Club.
Who?
Always in the club.
Dale
Golboldo, who's been on the podcast as well. I told him, I said, you should do this like once every 5 years.
Yeah. You think so? No.
It was in
once
Orlando.
every 5 years. Yeah.
It was real quick that they had to revolve that we were trying to figure out the dates to do this thing. And Chase was calling me. I go, look, buddy, I work on the weekends, so you can't revolve it around me. Y'all just do it. And I'll work it out. He goes, no. You got to let me know. So I said, okay, well, May 18th right now is open. So I was like, cool. So they started locking it in. Well, MegaCon was in town that same weekend. And the people from MegaCon found out about it and contacted them and said, are you nuts? You're trying to do your reunion in the same town as us with Mega. This is going to be insane. And then they came up with the idea, why don't we join forces and we'll have you guys on? Well, MegaCon kind of thought, they were cool enough to let us on, but I don't think they were expecting the outcome that we had.
Right.
We're actually, I think, the second biggest turnout, right? So we were the little engine that could for that, and it turned out phenomenal. Joey Fatone hosted our panel. We had a good 2,000 people in that room. It was awesome. And the audience got to ask questions and all that, so it was great. And the whole cast was, let's see, I think a good 26 members of the cast were there, which I think there was a total of 32. That was a good turnout.
Yeah, from multiple seasons as well. So it was really good. So, I mean, besides the Brittany and the Christina and the Carrie Russells,
the big ones,
the ones that made it. Everyone else showed up gladly.
Oh, and of course, the excuse for them was they're busy. Right. They're busy. They would, but they're busy, but everybody else was not that busy.
I'm going to have Tony Luca on next week, Damon. And we're going to talk about the whole Christina Aguilera and the voice incident.
Yeah. I don't
want to talk about it now because, I want to hear it straight from him because I'm going to grill him on it because I want to know exactly what happened.
The only thing I'll say is because of that, the MMC stuff kind of went crazy there for a while, and you can find a lot of stuff on YouTube because of him being on there. A lot of stuff on the MMC went up on YouTube after that. A lot of that stuff.
Man, that's crazy. So after the party ended, I want to get back to this. It ended. Were you upset about that? You knew it was coming? Was it a relief?
In actuality, I quit. I quit the group.
Okay.
I kind of got pushed on a bad day by management, and they were kind of pushing me in a corner, and I was very tired and burnt out at the time. We had just come back from Asia, a tour in Asia, and I was just burnt out. And they were asking about going back to Asia, and I was just kind of against it. And anyway, long story short, I quit. So then when I quit, the group did kind of continue moving forward a little bit with the other 4 members. And then after a while, it just dissolved. You know, just dissolved. And then for me at that age, at the time, you know, was great. Came home, went back to finished my senior year of school, was with my family. It was all great. And then in my mid 20s in LA, it was kind of one of those revelations of looking back and then trying to figure out, did I make the right choice, the regrets. And now we're seeing the careers of NSYNC, Britney, Christina starting to surface. These mega careers start coming, you know, out of the woodworks, and you're kind of going, wow, we didn't have those mentors to look up to prior to, you know, the group.
We're going to take a little pause right here. That was part 1 with Damon Pampolina. We will be back in 2 weeks with part 2, where Damon discusses the end of the party, some of the crazy stuff the Mouseketeers used to get into, and some of his worst ever auditions. Stay tuned. As always, I'm Christine Lakin. You can find me at Yo Lakin. You can find Alaa Khaled at Alaa Khaled, and Worst Ever Podcast at Worst Ever Podcast.